Hey Void, how you doing? Phoebe Rizzo still working the way through my collection, and well, okay. There's no easy way of going about this one. I have a confession, guys. Between you and me, until just the other day when I sat down to watch this, I'd never seen Blade Runner. Yeah, I know. I know. I don't know why I had never actually seen Blade Runner, considering everything else I watched. I probably should have. In fact, when I worked at the video store, I know both this one and Logan's Run I had checked out more than once. I just never sat down to actually watch it. It's the thing when you have unlimited time to see movies, you just keep putting things off. Well, so finally ended up getting a Blu-ray copy of the final cut of Blade Runner, because apparently there's a million versions of it, including the theatrical version, the narration version, the director's cut, the final cut, the international version. A lot of Blade Runner. But despite an earlier one being called the director's cut, director Ridley Scott actually had next to no involvement in that one, and that was just the rest of the crew trying to put back in pieces that Ridley Scott didn't want cut, and just rearranging a few of things to make things flow and getting rid of the awful narration. Well, 2007 came, and I believe it then. I think it was the 25th anniversary of the film, so Ridley Scott put out the final cut. So this one is actually effectively his director's cut. All right. So, after having finally seen Blade Runner, yeah, okay, it's a very good film. The cinematography is beautiful, the world building is very well done, and a lot of it's just told just by what you see. It feels like a natural progression of the future. It's beautiful and gritty and ugly at the same time, and in a way that really works. So, yeah, it's very impressive to look at. All right, so this one stars Harrison Ford as Deckard. Apparently, he has a first name. It's not actually said in this one, but Rick Deckard, as he is a Blade Runner, a essentially a specialized type of law enforcement trying to root out replicants, very advanced robots that can impersonate people, which are very dangerous. Meanwhile, Rutger Hauer stars as the lead replicant. Why is his name escaping me at the second? Just watch this. Roy. Roy Batty. And Rutger Hauer is devouring every scene he is in a beautiful fashion. He's clearly having a lot of fun with this movie. Harrison Ford is doing very well, but from what I heard between how heated things got between him and Ridley Scott, he probably wasn't enjoying this one nearly as much. But overall, that doesn't really show in the final film. So, Deckard has to investigate, and early on he meets Rachel, who is told to give the replicant test to as kind of an experiment, being told that she should be human. But he does conclude that she is a replicant, but she doesn't even know she's a replicant, leading to some other concerns. So there's a lot of identity themes coming through on here. What's the difference between human and replicant? Then are the replicants truly dangerous, or do they just want to be? There's a lot of themes going on here, and while the movie isn't short by any means, it definitely I can see why a follow up to explore some of these themes was later added on. The movie definitely leaves you wanting more, and I could have used some more time with all the replicants just to get a feel for them. You get somewhat, but a couple of them come and go pretty quickly. Um, the effects still hold up beautifully. Um, Yeah, there's a lot to like about Blade Runner. I definitely got invested in the characters, particularly the burgeoning romance between Deckard and Rachel, the replicant coming to terms with the fact that she is a replicant. And I just love watching Rutger Hauer work in this movie. Also, the movie is very open to interpretation on whether or not Deckard himself is a replicant also. There's some evidence that there is, but they don't explicitly come out and say it. So there's I haven't seen the sequel yet, but it is on the list, so maybe things go into it a little bit more in Blade Runner 2049. But I'm definitely enjoying this one. I'm rating this one very high. I can't really give it too perfect of a one because even with it is still a little tricky to follow at points just because there's so much going on and you're thrown right into the deep end. And while it's easy enough to pick up as you go along, there's just so much to the society that you just have to either assume or pick up very quickly. Also, just a little bit lack of development on some of the replicants because they're just not given any time. So I'm gonna give this one 8 MacGuffins. So 8 out of 10, very good. It's worth it just for the visuals alone. And I love you, Rutger Hauer. All right, so Blade Runner. If you haven't seen it for some reason, like me, see it. It's definitely worth it. I should have seen this years ago. In all honesty, I really should have. But I do have in my collection the sequel, so hopefully it won't take me too many more years to get to that one. Well, it's on the docket. See you guys soon. I've got a few others. Oh boy, do I got a few others.